A Girl Business podcast would like to thank its sponsors, the Crescent Hotel and Crescent Store. Be sure to follow along with Matt and his team as he brings back a historical landmark to Plumas County. Lucio's Mexican and American food restaurant. Lucio's is open Tuesday through Sunday, located in Quincy, California. Great atmosphere, and most importantly, delicious food. Welcome back to another episode of A Girl Business Podcast, Nepotism Edition. Today I am with Bailey, and I think technically we're cousins, and she is also owner of Roadside Retro Boutique, and we're going to do a little tour later. Okay, so let's get into how we're kind of related. Okay, part two.
Yeah.
Okay, so my grandma has a sister, my Aunt Raylene, my twin aunt, that you girls see. She's married to my Uncle Chris, and he's also your uncle.
Yeah, so biologically we're cousins, but there's that like age gap. So I grew up where that was just my uncle, and him and Raylene got married, and so we're like married cousins, in-laws.
Something
Like
cousin-in-laws.
that.
So is he your mom's brother or your dad's brother?
So technically, his mom and my mom are cousins. They're first cousins. So
Okay.
Really, he's like, I don't even know the
Hold
DNA
on, his mom
down.
and your mom.
Yeah, so we're really cousins.
Okay,
That's
so
really
it's your
what
cousin.
it is.
Okay.
I grew up and he was my uncle
Because he was
was
older.
and it's just how that worked out.
Yes, I totally
And
get
so
it.
yes,
Yeah.
so that's my aunt and uncle, and it's just always been that way. It's just always been Uncle Chris and Aunt Raylene.
Okay, and
Yeah.
we technically met one time, like at a family function,
Yeah.
and then we were talking about her being on the podcast, and I'm like, yes, like come on the show, and then I saw that you had messaged me on Instagram, which I never really check, by the way, so apologies in advance. I'm usually on Facebook, and I was like, oh my God, and you were like, hey, like I think we're related. I was like, oh, I remember now.
Yeah. Raylene was like, you have to follow her. Her and Chris came and brought me a bunch of stuff, and she was like, she's just out here doing all this different stuff, and it's so much fun. You got to follow her. So I started following you, and I was like, hey, here's the connection, but you hadn't even seen it yet.
I hadn't even seen it.
And then you were following me on Facebook, and I was like, oh, so we were meant to be.
We were
meant to be.
We
here.
were.
And here we are.
And here we are today
Yeah.
talking about your super cute, what do you call it? Like a mobile trailer or a pop-up boutique?
Yeah, like a mobile boutique.
A mobile boutique.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to let you take it as far back as you possibly can. The girls love the details.
Okay.
How you got to where we are today. And we're in Winters, right?
We're in Winters.
Winters.
Yeah. So I'm born and raised in Sacramento. I've had a really interesting life story.
I love it.
But so growing up, I grew up with a house that had antiques, and we had photography on the walls and art and just little treasures, as I like to call them. My mom's family was very into their culture. They immigrated from Spain to Hawaii and then to California. And so she was raised with a lot of culture, and she really instilled that into me. And so from a young age, she was gifting me items that were her mom's or her sisters, her aunts, other people in the family. And I somehow managed to keep them and treasure them throughout my life, even as a very young girl. And I remember them being on like my bookshelves and things like that. And then when I got to be in high school, I started thrifting to find my own style. And me and my best friend, we would go and we'd get like these oversized big jackets and these little kids' shirts. And we would just do whatever we wanted. And we didn't really care what, anyone else thought. And so I ended up, I didn't really know what I for sure wanted to do except for be an interior designer. And that was my goal. And so after I graduated high school, I went to school for interior design. And I graduated right when the market crashed in 2008. And I really wasn't in a position to be able to figure out, could I move to a big city and make this career work? Like I just needed to work. And so my mother-in-law at the time had landed me a job within the insurance industry. And so I did that. I worked my way through different fields in the insurance industry, and I made a career out of it. And that's what I did. And I was at one of my last companies. I was going through like a spiritual awakening. I had a DNA discovery, which kind of turned my whole life upside down.
Really?
Yeah, so I had taken an ancestry DNA test and I found out that the dad who raised me my whole life wasn't my biological father.
Oh my God.
And it matched me with my biological father. So that's what exactly it was like for me. Like my jaw was on the
Oh
floor
my
and it was,
gosh.
I can laugh about it, but initially it was very traumatic.
Oh, for
And at
sure.
that time, I was like, I'm not living for anybody else anymore. Like, I'm doing what the hell I want to do. And that was kind of like the start of that. So, shortly after I had divorced my husband, that had another child, I had a child with, and I ended up just being on the grind. I was a single mom working this, job that I had. And I ended up a few years later meeting my now fiance. Um, and I was just kind of tired. I was working for a great company, making really good money, and I hated the position I was in. I was constantly trying to get out of it. How do I get into something bigger and better? And I was always just second. I was always a second pick to everything, and I was getting really discouraged. So I go through this spiritual awakening. I go to a weekend retreat. I completely changed my entire life. These facilitators are like, you're artistic. Like, you're not just this corporate, like, insurance girl. And I'm like, yeah, but this is what I need. Like, this is my stability. This is my 401k, my medical. Like, this is what I have to have for me and my kids. My fiance is an entrepreneur. He owns his own business. He has a swimming pool business. And I just kind of let that sit in the back of my mind. But again, there was no plans for anything else. And I ended up getting a job that was within the insurance field, but it took me out of the position I was in. So I was super happy about it. And a few months into that job, they changed their policy to where anybody within a 60-mile radius needed to commute to the office. And the office was about an hour and a half.
Dang.
And I fought and I fought and I fought to like still keep my position. And ultimately they were like, no, we're not. And what was crazy about it is I was like 59.4 miles. Like I was like less than a mile out of the radius and they wouldn't accommodate it. And so I got laid off and I thought, well, what the hell am I going to do now? And my fiance said, well, you don't have to go back to working a corporate job. Like, let's figure out something for you to do. And that's when the wheels kind of started turning on what are we going to do. We actually were starting the process of opening an ice cream shop in our little town. Our little town really needed it. We wanted it. We tried really hard for it. We were in over our heads. We were having to convert a retail space into a restaurant technically. And we didn't know what the hell we were doing. And so the last minute we pulled out of that and I grieved and I cried and I thought, well, then what the heck else am I going to do? And so this gal I know was selling this little vintage trailer online. And I thought that thing is so cute. She was going to use it for a mobile boutique. That's how she had bought it. And life kind of changed for her and she ended up selling it. And so I said, let's go look at it and just see what can we do. And so we went and we looked at it and I said, I want it. And we bought it. And then that's when we figured out how do we then make this a business. And that's when Roadside Retro came about. And I thought, well, let's go back to like what I love. I love thrifting. I love going to antique stores. I love finding treasures. I love finding the cool stuff that someone's going to love or someone's going to hate or whatever. And like, let's make that happen. And that's what we did. And so we worked on the trailer. The bones were there, but we really had to go in and make it something unique and special. And so we worked on that for a few months, got that up and going, and the business was started.
Oh my gosh. What a journey.
It's been a journey. This life has really been a journey for me. And so I'm really excited at where we're at now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've seen you had a couple events, right? A couple pop-ups.
Yeah, we've done a couple pop-ups. We did a private one to kind of get our feet wet, see how everything was, kind of like test the waters. And then we've done some other events within the cities and hoping to get into more things. It's kind of the season starts slowing down towards winter. We knew that it was going to be a slow first season for us, which was fine. That was allowing us to kind of slowly get into it, learn where we needed to, fix mistakes we needed to. Like the first event, we were just going off the AC unit that was in there, and it ended up not being enough to cool the place down. So like we learned after the first event, we need to invest in a good unit. So it was like one of the first things we did. Like, so now it's nice and cool in there. So even on these hot summer days, you get a break. It's like, come on in and stay cool and shop. So yeah.
So when you first got the trailer or you went to go look at it, was it like you guys bought it on site or did you think about it for a few weeks?
We definitely went and thought about it for a bit because we also had to figure out what can we do with this? How do we make this a business? It's cute enough in its own, but how are we going to attract people to it? What's going to attract them? What's going to be something that works for now or that we can also transform later if we need to? And so, yeah, we sat on it, but we ended up purchasing it around like Christmassy time and then actually got it here to our space in February where we started the renovation. So then it was all about the brainstorming. I've never owned a business. And so I didn't even know how to do things like get a business license. I needed to get a wholesale license. I needed to get a, different permitting and just all those things. Luckily, when we were working with that ice cream shop that we wanted to open, I had learned a lot from that I could transfer to this, even though they're two totally different businesses. This was much simpler in that sense. The beast of a restaurant is something that you really got to be ready for. So this was like easy, and then I could start shopping. And that was like the fun thing is I could go in and figure out my inventory and sourcing items and what I wanted to sell.
Yeah, I saw you were just at an event. It was in Sacramento.
We did the last event we did was in Vacaville.
It looked like you were shopping. You were out shopping.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going everywhere for shopping. I'm going to Sacramento. I'm going to the Bay Area. I will be on a trek where I need to go to find the goods. So there nowhere's off limits.
Oh my God. What do you look for?
Gosh. So initially it was kind of like I just needed to get inventory. So I was just going for things. I didn't really have like what I wanted. And I think that will also progress as I'm learning on what the people want. So one of the learning curves I had is, so we sell new, used, and vintage clothing, accessories, goods, antique goods. And I started getting this inventory of just used and vintage clothing. And then I thought to myself, well, I think I need some new clothes. I think I need like new denim. I need new basics. I need new graphic tees. And so I was pressed on getting all these things. And now I'm doing these events and I'm realizing people want the vintage. They want the used stuff. And so, I'm finding good quality pieces. There's times where I'm buying something and then I come home and I look at it and I go, dang it, that was kind of rougher than I thought it was. And I either have to figure out, can I make this work or are we going to toss this one to the side and it's just a loss? So now I'm listening to what the customers are asking for. And the big thing I'm seeing is like the vintage tees. It's hard because me growing up, what was vintage for my household was like 50s, 60s, 70s. Y2K is what's vintage now. And I'm like, and so I'm like, this is my era of things. We just went to like this huge expo. That's probably what you were seeing. Mm-hmm. And everything was just Y2K. So it's none of this 50s, 60s, 70s stuff, even the 80s. I mean, it's really this 2000s, which is great because I can relate. I'm like, I remember this stuff. I remember that. It's stuff from my childhood, which is really exciting. But it's just really like listening to what the people are asking for and what they want, and then learning what they don't. And so that's where I'm kind of learning like some of these markets might not lend well to some of the vintage stuff that I really carry. And that's okay. That's okay. Mm-hmm. We'll figure out other ways to sell it.
And I saw that you also have like, is knick-knack? What would you call them?
Treasures. That's what I call them.
Treasures. You have like a bunch of little vintage and antique treasures as well.
Yes, I love them. That's the hard thing too, is I'm out shopping for the people, but Bailey wants the things too. So my fiance was always like, you can't keep everything. And I'm like, what? I can't? Some of them, it's too good to pass up. I'll buy it with the whole heart that I'm going to sell it. And I'm like, I can't give this up. Like I have a beautiful silk robe that I got for
Ooh.
nothing. And I'm just like, I got to keep this for myself. And the other thing too is like now that I'm doing all this, people are coming to me with their items. And surprisingly, people are like willing to donate a lot of their stuff because they'd rather it go to someone who's going to appreciate it, sell it to other people who are going to appreciate it instead of just dumping it at a thrift store bin, where they're marking it up. They know that that I'm going to be selling it for a price and making a profit, but they'd rather that go towards a small business than this corporate, thrift store.
Like Goodwill or something.
Yeah. And I can understand that because as I'm going to some of these stores, I'm like, this is highway robbery now. I mean,
yeah.
and I got very nervous on some of my pricing initially as well. And then I'm going to these places and I'm like, they're selling for more than what I would sell these items for. And so yeah, but we have a lot of little antique knickknacks. I've come across a lot of records, so I've got those. Just little fun things that I've curated, and also finding what's something maybe I don't love, but I think the people might like, or that brings back that nostalgic feel, like, that people love that they see it and they're like, I had this growing up. I had a set of Lincoln Logs.
Aww.
And my sister-in-law was like, I'm going to get these for my daughters, and it's just so cool because it's like coming back again, and I love that. It's finding its own new home.
I love Lincoln Logs when I was a kid. I haven't seen those in forever.
I know. I was like, someone's going to appreciate these. I need to bring them.
Is it fun? Do you ever take your daughter or your son with you?
Yeah, so the kids do like it. My oldest daughter, she has a heart for all the thrifting. And so it's hard with school because a lot of times I'm out doing the sourcing while they're at school. And so my oldest is like, Mom, you always go without me and then you get the stuff without me. And so I haven't taken her everywhere, but she loves it. A lot of times though, it's nice because I can come home with these items and I'm like, oh, I found this shirt. I'll give her like first dibs on some of this stuff. And some of it, she's all for it. Some of it, she's like, I don't really love it that much. And so that's been fun. The youngest, he's not like super about it unless he can be in the toy section. And that's not a high priority for me. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, I'm like, we don't need that other toy. But then, dad is usually like, well, let him have it. It's $1, So that's the hard thing is keeping everybody on track when we are like, we're working right now, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like a really fun family outing, if nothing else.
Yeah. I love like the antique fairs. Those are the ones that are really fun for everybody because you can find some good. Those are the toys where I'm like, heck yeah, it's worth the money that you'll spend, and we just give a limit on it. But yeah, they do seem to enjoy it.
And the toys from back then it was like in the 90s. Hello. Back then, they're just way better quality.
Yeah. Yeah, I can take them, I can bring them, I can clean them up, and they're still good to go. Yeah.
And same thing like with the clothes.
Oh, 100%. It's all, and that's even what I'm finding with these vintage clothes. I mean, they're 50 plus years old, and they're still standing the test of time. Even the stuff that's handmade. I came across a trunk of old handmade dresses and pants and skirts, and then all this fabric. And even that stuff, it's great quality. It doesn't have a tag, it's vintage, but it's great, and I love that, and it's unique. That's the other thing. It's not this mass-produced stuff to where, and don't get me wrong, I've got plenty of mass-produced stuff that I have in my own closet. We all do.
I'm wearing Nike shoes.
But it's just nice when it's like you're getting something that you're not going to see everybody else wearing. And I think that's the fun for the people shopping as well. They're picking out something that they know that's kind of unique for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have like a little story, girls. I was actually with Uncle Chris at craft show way over in Plumas County. So we're like a little over 3 hours from each other. And one of the customers that were in my booth, they were from Winters.
Oh.
Yeah, and Uncle Chris, he's very friendly, chatty, loves strangers. And he's like, oh, my niece is from there. And then they're like, oh, what happened with the ice cream shop? Like immediately. So I I think the town was a little bit devastated about the ice cream shop.
The town was devastated. We were devastated. Everyone was devastated. Luckily, our bakery ended up getting frozen yogurt in it to offset it. But we were going to do like traditional old school ice cream shop. You know, the sundaes and the banana splits.
Vintage.
Vintage. That's exactly what we were going to do. And so, yeah, it was really, really hard decision to back out of it. There was a lot of tears.
Yeah.
There was a lot. It was like a breakup. I was like, no, I don't want to do this. And then again, it was like, well, then what else am I going to do now? I've invested 6 months into figuring this out. But like I said, it's a beast in its own. My girlfriend's fiance just came to our last event and he goes, why don't you turn the trailer into an ice cream shop? And I said, because it's the same amount of work as if you have a brick and mortar. And it's the permitting and all that is just, again, to the people who can do it, my hat's off to you, because if you're not hiring somebody to support you in it and you're trying to do it on your own, it is a lot of work and more work than we expected.
Well, also, I think it's really a testament to the both of you to be able to walk away from it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure like that takes a lot of strength.
And it was hard because we had already told the town about it. So we went on, and the owners of the space we were going to lease, they supported us in allowing us to advertise. We would be set up outside of the shop going and, saying, we painted the whole windows last year for our Harvest Fest and said, Main Street ice cream coming soon. That's what we were going to be. And so everybody was excited for it. And so that was also really embarrassing. That was one of the things I said, we started all these social media pages. We've been putting ourselves out to the community, and then now we're backtracking out of it. And I was really embarrassed to have to do that. And, the owners of the space said, who cares? Who cares what everyone thinks? Like this is what you have to do for yourself. And I really appreciated that they did that, because they own several businesses. They probably have had their own, times of starting things, failing at things. Everyone has, if they're starting a business or done a business. And so that was like a big thing, was like, okay, you're right. This is our lives. This is what we're having to do. And it's harder probably for us than anybody. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And imagine like if you would have, because I think sometimes, especially as women, we're like, oh no, like we're just gonna push through because we don't want to disappoint anyone. So imagine like you guys push through and then 6 months and then it didn't work out. Like that would have been even worse.
And that was my fear. And my gut had been telling me that, like, you're going to put everything into this. You're not going to have any more wiggle room. And then what happens in 6 months if you have to bail out? Would you rather bail out before you even started, or would you want to bail out once you're in there? And I had really also been working on trusting my gut and my intuition. I had like strayed away from that for so many years of my life that I said, okay, I got to listen. She ain't never lied to me before, and she ain't lying to me now, and I got to trust her, and this is just not the right move. And I remember just when I had to call my fiance and tell him that, and I said, it's going to sound crazy, but my gut is just telling me don't do it, and we just can't do it. And he said, okay. And he backed me. And, that was the other thing, is having that support of saying like, okay, then we'll figure out what's next, but take some time. And we took, although we bought the trailer, we took through the holidays to kind of just get through the holidays and settle. And then like after the first of the year, let's start going hard on this. And then that's when we did it. And it all worked out as it's supposed to be. That's what I've learned the most in my life, and all of the trials and tribulations I've gone through, is everything has to happen to end up where we're at today. And I wholeheartedly believe, like, if the puzzle pieces hadn't fallen the way they did, it wouldn't have been complete.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think sometimes you go through things and it doesn't seem like it will benefit you until years later. And then you can recall on that skill or that tribulation that you went through. And you're like, man, it's actually like coming in handy now all these years later.
100%. Totally. Yeah. I agree.
And I think it's good, especially that you guys took a break over the holidays, because holidays are freaking nuts. Imagine if you guys are going to open the ice cream shop before the holidays?
Yeah, we were like, well, I don't think we would have gotten to it, but we would have been working through the holidays on trying to transform the space. And, and then on top of it, just family. And I host Christmas every year. It's a big deal. And, all these things. And then as I'm sourcing, as I'm working on the trailer and doing all the renovation to it, I go, I don't know who I thought I was. I was going to be working 7 days a week, scooping ice cream. Granted, I worked at an ice cream parlor growing up as a kid. I mean, we're talking like my sophomore and my junior and senior year of high school. During that time frame, and I'm thinking I'm not a 17-year-old kid, anymore. I'm going to be scooping ice cream 6 days a week for 10, 12, whatever. And I just started like getting pains in my arms already. And I'm like, gosh, I wasn't going to be built to do all that. So, and at the same time, we weren't going to have any money to hire somebody. So it was going to be my job to do it. And the 15-year-old was like, well, I'd much rather work the boutique than the ice cream shop. She said, I wasn't going to want to work the ice cream shop. So I'm like, all right.
So it was, all in all, it was more than the right choice.
It was the right choice. Yeah. Yep.
And having started the boutique now, has that felt easier? You said it is much easier, but just like your intuition, I'm sure, is just so much like calmer now.
Yeah. And it's has its ebbs and flows like any business is going to. And it's had things that I'm figuring out on my own. I mean, each time I'm planning for an event, I'm a total stress case, like leading up to it. I mean, my house gets filled with totes and I'm figuring out what am I going to bring and I'm trying to set up and it's, out. People don't realize the day of when they see that everything's set up. That's a week's worth of process, progress of working with that. And like my girlfriend's coming over to help me. My fiance's helping me, the kid, everyone's helping, it's a family affair to get this trailer going and then to set it up. And so we're figuring it out as we go, but it is much easier because it's mine. I own it. I can work it when I want to work it. If I can't do it because of life, then that's okay. I'm not paying a rent every month, and so it's like those little things just took the weight off of it. Now, as I'm into it, I'm like, okay, I have all this inventory and I want it to go to good homes. So I'm trying to also learn other ways that I can sell besides just the in-person pop-up. And so I'm kind of navigating, do I build a website to sell on? Do I sell through these sites like eBay and Poshmark and all that? So like I actually just put a poll out today online on how do people want to shop this, and so that I can have more than one option for people. So as we arrive to this slow season and rainy season where we probably won't be at many events, then there's another way that they can get these items. And so it's got its stressors still, like any business is going to, but it's been a lot more calm and it's allowing me to be more of myself as well. So like my fiance always says, like when I'm out there and I'm working the business and people are there shopping, he's like, you're shining. Like this is what you're meant to do. You're meant to be here talking to these people and, greeting them and like helping them with things. And then I get to see how excited people are, we had an event where this guy comes and we weren't even ready yet. He comes though to shop and he's just walking around and he buys this outfit. He ends up chatting for a while and then he comes back. He also bought an outfit for his son. It was great. It was just him at the time. And he comes back a couple hours later, full event is on, and he's transformed his entire outfit. So he bought like these kind of checkered pants, this Marvin the Martian vintage tee.
Oh my God, I love
he
it.
bought his son this like old Space Jam, it just this whole set of outfit. And he comes back and everything he's cut up the shirt, he's cut up the pants, he's got his dog with him. His dog's got part of the pants like as his like collar. The son's got his whole outfit on. I was like, this right here is what I'm doing this for. And it was so cool, to see like, and it made me think of like me as the teenager shopping at the thrift stores and like buying whatever, and someone might not even have seen, like I didn't picture that outfit together, but it was so perfect, and to see it. And then his son, was like 13 years old, 12 or 13. He loved his outfit too. And I was like, yes. So that's been really cool too.
And you created a bonding moment for
yes.
a family,
Him and my fiance exchanged numbers. I mean, they were chit-chatting for a while, but it was so cool. And then, just, yeah, that bonding moment and seeing this father and son, and they had their own moment with it, and you just think clothes, but it was more than the clothes, it was more than the clothes and it brought us all together. So that was really cool.
I love that. And I
Yeah.
love all your social media stuff that you do. You look
Thank
so
you.
cute in all your outfits. Is
Thank
this one
you.
of your outfits that you found?
This is, I mean, it's not one, it's just something from my closet. I know I thought, should I be wearing Roadside Retro today? But I just didn't have time to pull that all together. But yeah, I've started to notice that I'm getting more traction when I'm trying on the clothes versus just hanging the clothes for people to see. And so I'm having to get out of my comfort zone with that as well. And like, you got to put it on. But I'm also telling my friends and family, like, can you please come and model for me?
Yeah.
I'm telling my fiance, I need you to put on the men's clothes. And you're like, I don't want to do that. I said, I need you to do it. People need to see the
I
men's
need
stuff.
you to do it.
Yeah, it's not an option. This is a family business, honey. So yeah, so that's been nice as well. The kids are the ones who are not about it. My niece comes and helps me at some of the shows, and so I made her do a try on. She picked some stuff, and I said, "Well, this is your payment for today. Then you get the shirts instead of getting paid today." And then I said, "But you have to take pictures in the shirt so I can post them." So we got a little bit there.
How you're on Instagram and you're on
Yes.
Facebook. Do you have a TikTok for it at all?
I don't have a TikTok. I haven't ventured into that. I don't know that I'm ready for it.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's all of this is a lot. Having to really be like a content creator in your business as well, and
Mhm.
continuously post and trying to learn what do people like and not like has, been fun and stressful. And I'm having to learn how to not be so critical of myself, because the first time I did an unboxing video, I probably did 15 takes, and I was like, I hate all of these. I don't want any of this
Do that too.
online. And then I'm like, I don't have time to do 15 takes to get this one 3-second reel. So that's also been a learning curve. So TikTok, I'm not there. I don't know if I want to get there. I'm flip-flop the view. I mainly use the Instagram and just share it to my Facebook.
Mhm.
I think that that's where like more of my people are. I'm going to find them more in the wild that way. But I also keep the Facebook because there are some events, and that's, you got to have both. You got to.
Yes, exactly. Well, like you said, I feel like every business has their own channel, and I feel like every social media platform is so different. Like the demographic is so different, the audience is so different.
Yes.
And I think, each business matches up with one of those.
Totally.
Or maybe two. But yeah, I have a TikTok for the podcast. It's not really doing much.
It's hard. It's
super hard.
And you're
It's
trying
so
to get
hard.
into these algorithms, and yeah.
It's like a whole nother job.
It is. It 100% is. It's and I'm constantly thinking, what am I going to post today? What am I going to do? What do I have? What can I do to, get myself out there? And so luckily in real life, I'm an outgoing person. I don't have a problem talking to people. It's just the trying to also sell yourself online, which I've had to do that in the past. When I was selling an insurance, there was a point where I was always on a Facebook Live to connect with people because I was having to build that brand. And so then I went completely opposite of that. And now I'm having to get back in there. I'm like, you've done it before, Bailey. Like, just keep on with it,
It's different when it's your own business. It's like a little bit more vulnerable, But I think you're doing great. I love all your videos, and I love all the little outfits.
Thank
I think they're adorable. And girls, we're going to do a tour, and I'm sure I'm going to find some stuff that I am definitely going to be purchasing.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff. I didn't put everything out today, but you guys will like it.
Yeah, we'll like it. Something that I've realized doing like the social media, and because YouTube will start paying you once you reach 1,000 subscribers. So I was doing I was making like 5 little shorts a day because those bring in subscribers. But then it got to a point where I said, you know what? This feels like the new rat race. Like I am leaving my corporate 9-to-5 rat race. I don't want to just jump into, it's like the new age rat race, social media.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're not doing what is true to you and you're just like making stuff to make stuff, you're just going to feel trapped in a whole nother digital world.
Totally.
Race.
Yeah. Like you said, you're trading it from one thing to the other.
Exactly.
And that's what I don't want to get back to.
Yeah.
I don't want to get back to that. Like, I have to do it. And sometimes it's like that. You're going to have those days regardless where it's like, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. After these events, I literally feel like I'm down for 3 days, but I still am like, I have to get up. I still got to do something. What's the next thing? And I'm also trying to look at what other people are doing as well. And that's the nice thing about social media is you can kind of learn from these people on what's working for them, what's not. What do you see that's catching your eye from what they're sharing or posting and doing that? And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like I started trying to put these fun little quotes up and no one cares about those. I'm like, I see these all the time and I think these are great, but no one is caring about them right now. Maybe when I have thousands of followers, it'll get some traction. But so I'm like, all right, until then, I guess I'm trying on clothes or showing the inside of the trailer again. And I also think, how long is that going to last? How many times can I show the inside of this trailer setup? Although each time it's a little bit different, but so yeah, it's a game changer and it's a learning curve, but it's part of the game.
100%.
Yeah.
The algorithm of life, if you will.
Yes.
How was the community when you said, okay, we're not doing the ice cream shop anymore. Now we have the trailer. Was there any kind of like, how was the reaction?
I still felt like it was pretty good. People were still excited about it. Again, there was the devastation of the ice cream shop.
Not to keep bringing it up.
I know. But it's gonna happen at some point. It's gonna happen for this town. I know we've had ice cream shops here before, and they've been really successful. It's just a matter of times for one to come back. And like I said, thank goodness our bakery started doing the froyo, so we got something. We got a sweet treat.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, the community was well with it. We have a lot of boutiques in our like little shops, collectives, things like that have amazing stuff. And the nice thing is that they're all a little bit different, and this is totally different as well. So there's not been a competitive feel at all, and really the community wants to see more of us, and so we want to get more into our own community. We've been in Vacaville, which is a suburb for us, and we're looking at Davis and all these other events, but we really want to get into our town where we're at and like build that. And so it's been like fun networking and learning some things there and just getting out more with the people who do own these other stores and other shops and connecting with them. And so they're happy about it. And it's nice to feel that we're in a community where although there's quite a few boutiques, there's not this competition with everybody. Everyone's really supportive of it. So that's been really nice too.
Do you feel like since now you're not working insurance and you're an entrepreneur girly, do you feel like you've met all these people now, like a whole different subculture of your area?
Well, I loved all the shops that we had. So I was already a customer in there, frequently. And, but what I will say is I'm noticing the other people who are still like entrepreneurs. Like I said, my fiance, like he has his own business and he's been successful with it. Had I not had him to really push me and say like, go for this, I probably would have been too scared. Had I not had the security to know that I could fail or I could back out of something or I could try again, I probably wouldn't have done it because like I said, I was going to be a lifer in insurance. That's where I was going to be at. But I also reminded myself when I went into this, okay, what if I do this and it fails? I can go back and get another insurance job. Insurance is never going anywhere.
Right.
And so there is that option, but I'm not giving myself that option. So I'm not giving myself the out of it, but I'm just looking at like, I have grown up where, I have friends that have done hair. I was just around tons of people who worked for themselves. I just never felt like I could do it. And so, that community has kind of been around me, but I don't think I had that like full on support or that push until my fiance. And then once I said I was going to do it, everyone rallied around me. So like my best friends and my family and everyone was just like, go and do it. Like you got this. And that was also really nice of having that support because not everyone has that. And so I'm very fortunate that, I have the family who's like, here, do you want to sell this? Do you want this? My mom's trying to give me all these things. I'm like, Mom, I'm not selling our family heirloom. I'm going to keep these for myself and the girls. She's like, well, I don't, and as she gives me things, then I have to re-ask her, where did you get this from? Is this your mom's or your grandmother's? Because I don't want to get rid of that stuff. And some of it, she's like, well, it's mine or I bought it. And then I'll also ask my girls, is this something that you want me to hold on for you? Or do you want me to sell it? But yeah, it's the same thing when Uncle Chris, he came over with totes and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, okay, where did this come from? Where did this come from? Even stuff that was, like his grandfather, which was my great uncle. I couldn't part with it. I just said like, I need to keep this here. And I was also shocked because, I thinking your daughter doesn't want all these things. And that's what I'm learning is some of that younger generation, they don't want it. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what? Like eh, think cool little things like a medical bag he had from when he was in the Navy. I'm like, I'm not going to sell this. It's got your name on it. Like I'll keep, maybe one day when her kids get older, your daughter's kids, they'll want it. I don't know. But, that's the other thing is it's been nice having that where people are like, well, we have this really cool stuff and why don't you take it on and then you can do what you want with it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It does make a big difference when you have a lot of support.
Yes. It's makes all the difference. I mean, and I'd say I'm fortunate that I have my family's support. Not everybody has that. And I say, go find someone who's going to support you then. And you almost have to be delusional in your own, like, this is going to work. And that's what I've had to tell myself. Like, this is going to work. There's not another option for it. Again, in the back of my head, I'm always like, I still have something I can do, but I'm not leading with that. And so it's like if you don't have the support of your family, if you don't have supportive friendships or partners or whatever, then go find those people because there are people who are going to rally with you and say like this is a great idea. Go with it. Whatever that is. And whether you're completely delusional about it, no one needs to know
Right.
that.
And I think that's the key to life.
Yeah.
Delusion.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Sometimes you have to be delusional just to get through it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because life's going to keep lifing.
Exactly. Do you ever miss the insurance job or like a 9 to 5 or?
No. No, so the simple answer is I don't. I liked insurance. I was really good at it. I loved it. But what it came down to was I loved helping people. That's what it was. That's what insurance is you're helping people when they need you the most. And it got really hard. And the insurance market in California right now is really freaking hard. And so one of the last positions where I was at, where I was struggling, it was just dealing with people who are angry and upset. They're not calling in because they're thrilled. Sometimes they are, but very rarely, and you're dealing with a lot of crises. I was working in a lot of catastrophic events with wildfires in
Were
California.
you an adjuster?
I wasn't an adjuster. I was a consultant, but they ended up working where they brought like a service team out with adjusters because adjusters can't talk coverages and premium changes just like we couldn't talk claims. And so they decided we're going to start tag teaming this. And so I would go out to these, like the campfire and all these little fires that happen around California. And so you're dealing with people that have lost everything in their life and they are devastated. They don't know what to do. And you're trying to help navigate this. And then they're dealing with the claim and it's hard and it's not easy and they need this money and then they like can't survive after they get the money. And so it was just really difficult seeing that. It was really rewarding when you could explain to them and support them and they were grateful for that. But it just got, like I said, the market got really hard in California. And so most of the time we were just dealing with anger and rage and all of that. And it beats down on you when you're just doing this all day long. And that's why I had just wanted to get into something bigger and higher and better. And it just wasn't working. And I realized why it didn't work because I wasn't meant to do any of that. And so I miss the fact that I shouldn't say I miss though. I enjoyed it. It ran its course. I was in insurance for almost 20 years.
Oh my
And
gosh,
so,
girl.
it was a long time. And I'm appreciative of it because it taught me things and helped me grow into who I was. And it gave me that stability when I needed it, when I was a single mom, when I was trying to figure out my life, when I was going through divorces and breakups or finding out, crazy family stuff. It let me have where I didn't have to worry about the money and the income. And now that things have settled in my real life, then now it's like I can do this and I can have fun. I can like really do something that I'm passionate about and I have fun with. And that's what I really love.
That sounds like a
Yeah.
much better path.
Yes.
How was it being a mom and a fiance and running a business, and how do you juggle all that?
Well, it's I'm at a place now where it's easy for me to do it. And so that's having a supportive partner, I think, is like the biggest thing. I've had the most supportive partner I've ever had in my life. And so that makes all of it. And so it's not just me on my own. It's all in the past, it's always been me on my own. Even if I've been in a partnership, I've still had to figure it all out. And so I was always in a fight or flight. And so I was struggling and it was chaotic and things like that. And so again, that's why I need that steady 9 to 5 job. And so now that I can sit back and I can breathe finally and I can express myself and I have this time where I'm able to pick up my kids from school and I can take them to where they need to go and dinner can be early. My kids make fun of me because dinner's early, but dinner can be early. We don't have to eat at 8 o'clock at night because I've worked until 6 and then I'm doing everything else. And so that's been really nice. I've been able to like be the mom I wanted to be that I never got a chance to be. And then in turn, I'm like, I have a partner. And so it's like a partnership with us. And where I'm lacking, he can pick up and vice versa. And so that's really nice too. And I think the kids see it. It's hard. Like my teenager, my 15-year-old, she doesn't quite realize like this is a business and a job. She's like, Mom, you don't have a job. And I'm like, no, I own a business. What do you mean?
Mom's
Like,
out shopping again.
Yeah, exactly. That's how she's looking at it. Like, okay, you're just shopping and then you like pop up with your trailer and like, and so
Be
I'm
for
like,
real.
you're going to see though, you're going to see. But it's also allowed me, I told my daughters, you don't have to go to a 4-year college. There is no parameter on what you have to do. If you want to start your own business, you can start your own business. If you want to go to a 4-year college, you can go to a 4-year college. If you want to take time off from school, do that. You're going to have to probably work and figure that stuff out. And luckily they want to, they have the desire to do that and bring in money. But it's not this like, if you don't do this the way that society tells you to do it, then it's wrong. And so now they're also seeing, okay, my mom didn't always do everything in the best way. But then, she did these things and that didn't work out for her. She was successful in these ways and unsuccessful in these ways. And now she's doing it her own way. And that's great. And so it's kind of showing them. And they're seeing that all around. Their dad, he works for himself. My fiance works for himself. So they're seeing that like you can go both ways and it's okay, whatever you choose to do. And there's no right or wrong way. It's what's right for you. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think is like most important to instill in them, because they're in school where they're meeting with their school counselor. They're like, oh, you think you're only going to do a community college? Let's prep you for a 4-year. And I'm like, well, that's what their job is to do, but that's not what you have to do. And so I'm really kind of teaching them that. And now I'm showing them that that's possible too. So that's nice.
Leading by example.
Yeah, exactly. And like figuring it out and kind of showing like, I don't have all the answers. Because I think when we're kids, we think that the adults around us have all the answers and they have it all figured out and they know what they're doing. And we don't. And my parents didn't. And you know what I mean? I don't think anyone's parents did. And now that I'm at those age of my parents, I'm like, I didn't know. I don't know what the hell I'm doing half the time. They definitely didn't know what the hell they were doing half the time. That's okay. But, it's kind of showing them like, we'll figure it out as we go and we'll be fine. And that's going to be okay. So.
Yeah, it's teaching them resilience, flexibility, all that
100%.
stuff.
100%. Yeah, and you need that no matter what you decide to do with your life.
Because sometimes even if you do it all the right way, I know that when I was going through a divorce, I was so angry at the fact that like I feel like I did everything right. I went to college, I married the right guy that could take care of me. I did all this shit the right way, and what was it for? I still had to reinvent myself, and thank God, by the way. Thank God. But,
yeah,
there's no guarantee even if you do everything society tells you.
And I did it all the wrong way. Let me tell you, I did it all the wrong way. And I, look back and I think to myself, how in the hell did you make it? Like, gosh, but I did. I did because I had that resilience in me of like, I'm not giving up and I'm not going to do nothing. And um, yeah, yeah. And I hate that there's those parameters. Like, what does that mean? This right and wrong way. And it's hard because you think that you're doing it one way and it's the way that it's supposed to be. And then it still falls apart, but it's because it wasn't meant to be. That's the whole
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
What you were meant to have to go through all of that to get you to where you are now.
Exactly. I think the only right way is just to listen to your intuition, just like you said.
100%. And that's one of the things I'm also teaching my daughters is, mom went through years and years of her life of not trusting her gut, not listening to herself, not trusting her intuition, not listening to the little voice in my head. And each time it was right. It was right and I was wrong. Like my person of what I wanted to do and what I wanted to follow was just not always leading me on the best path in the right way. And so as I'm getting back into like this, learning more about myself and getting more in tune with myself, I'm also trying to teach my kids that like trust your gut. She will not lead you astray. I promise you.
Has there been times now that you've started the Roadside Retro Boutique, has there been times where you've heard your intuition say, "Hey, don't do this"?
I haven't really had a lot with that. But I'm sure it'll come. It'll come. There'll be times where I have those moments. I'm sure of it. We're so new and we've only had a few events. And so that's to come. I know it'll happen and I'll be listening.
Good.
I'll be listening to her.
Well, I'm super excited to see your whole journey, and for summers are crazy busy for like
Yes.
pop-up events and stuff. So, do you have any exciting plans that you can share?
I don't have anything exciting yet. Just keep following along with us on our journey because we're going places. I know we're going places. We're getting the word out. We're getting communities excited about it. We're getting our name out there and we're going to do big things. It's coming.
I'm here for it.
Yay.
And if anybody wants to follow you, where can they find you at?
So I'm on Instagram, Roadside Retro Boutique. I'm on Facebook as well, Roadside Retro Boutique. You can like us, share us, follow us, all the things. And yeah, we're there. Those are our primaries. We're going to be working on some sort of additional shopping option. Again, kind of trying to navigate that space and what does it look like. I don't know if it'll be a website or we'll start with kind of the other social selling platforms, but we're going to get out there so that when we are not at an event, you can still shop our items. And if not, you can always DM us in the meantime while we work on those things.
Perfect. Well, especially because if you can't get out there during the winter, that's holiday season. People are Christmas shopping.
Exactly. And we're probably going to have to do a little bit of renovations this winter. We might have a little bit of a leak that we just got to tidy up some things. And so I don't know how much she'll be out during this winter. But like I said, we're starting off slow. Next year, we're going to come in with a bang. And you guys get ready.
Yeah. They're taking the time they need to do what you got to do. There's no rush.
There's no rush. Like if this is a lifetime opportunity, then I've got still a lifetime to go.
Right.
I don't listen to my kids who keep telling me that I'm old, and I'm like, girl, I am young. I don't know what I am in my prime right now, so I've got plenty of years to go. So yes, we will be out there.
And what advice do you have for women, whether it's if they want to start a business or if they want to listen to their intuition or if they're juggling a lot of things? Just any advice that you have for women that might be listening?
I would say learn to sit with yourself. I think that's like one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do was face my deepest, darkest fears, was to finally stop self-sabotaging. About a year and a half ago, I got sober, not because I had a problem, but because I just was tired of my own shit. And so that comes with like not giving up on yourself. There's been so many things that have happened in my life where I could have just like thrown in the towel and been like, I'm done with this. And I wouldn't have gotten to where I was today. And so if you're thinking of starting a business or doing anything, don't listen to the noise. If the doubters, the naysayers, follow what your heart says to do and just do it. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't need to know what the outcome's going to be yet. You don't need to know when you're going to see a return. I don't know when I'm going to fully see a return on my investment, but I know it's going to come. And again, be a little delusional with it. It is okay. No one's going to believe in you more than you believe in yourself. And so just do it. And then if there are those people doubting you, you can then come back when you're better than ever and more successful than ever and say, I did it. And I did it for myself. And that's the other thing is like, do it all for yourself and what makes you happy, and everything else will come. Everything will come in its time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm chomping at the bit to go do a tour. So let's go do a tour, girls, and let's see what treasures we can find. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that awkward social media stuff, and be sure to follow along on Bailey's journey. And we're going to see amazing things soon to come.
Yay!
So let's go do
take
a
look.
tour.
Hi, I'm Bailey, owner of Roadside Retro Boutique. Come take a look. All right, so we have tons of our clothing here. We have some of our new stuff mixed in with the used and the vintage goods. This is one of my favorite vintage finds. I absolutely adore it. It's one that I've had to not keep for myself. And then just some of the other goods. We love finding fun little hats. Tins are some of my absolute favorites. And all the silver.
These are what I see you try on Instagram. They're so cute.
Yes, yeah, these are like some of the new stuff, and I just don't feel like it gets the recognition, but super fun. And then these are like some of the handmade, like vintage finds that I've come across that are super, like some good fun 80s dresses. Like, who doesn't want that for a party?
How pretty.
Yeah, and we just try to get like a range of different fun things, different sizes. I hand make most of those earrings there.
Oh, cool.
So that's something that actually Uncle Chris, he was the first person who ever took me to a bead store as a little girl. And then I sing on TikTok, actually, a gal making earrings. And I said, I can do that. I used to do that all the time. So I started making all these earrings to sell, and people, they really gravitate towards them. They love them.
They're really cute. Roadside Retro.
Yeah.
Oh, what is this? This is like an old school.
It's a vintage little Hawaiian dress.
Oh my gosh, how cute. Oh, the records.
Some records.
Oh, there's a whole side over here. I didn't even. There's a lot of stuff in here, girl.
Yeah.
You did good with the space.
Yeah, we really try to like maximize it the best that we could for what we had, and then you have to get the dressing room as well, because the dressing room is its like own.
Oh, you have a dressing room?
Yeah.
Oh,
Are
a
you
nice
ready?
mirror. Oh, you know I love it. Oh my god.
And my best friend made the stained glass mirror that's in there. When you turn the other way.
How cool.
Isn't that cool? My tattoo artist gave me that like one-of-a-kind piece that he painted, and I now have her tattooed on the back of my leg.
What's her name?
I haven't named her. But yeah, I like have been in love with it for a long time, and then he had prints of it and he ran out of the prints, and I was like, oh, super disappointed. And then he goes, no, you can have the original. And oh, seriously, for real?
That's so
yeah,
cool.
he watercolor painted that.
Awesome. You have women's, men's, kids.
Yes, women's, men's, kids,
Treasures.
all different sizes. You know, we're learning what what the girls want. So we have the most variety in the women's, over like women's and kids and all that. But yeah.
Oh, these are super cute.
Aren't those fun?
Yes. Okay, girls, I gotta go. I gotta shop.